As part of government effort to ease COVID-19 burden on businesses, the National Board for Small-Scale Industries has been tasked with the mandate of distributing 600 million stimulus package to all medium and small businesses in the country. After the government announcement, many institutions and individuals have shared different thoughts on this directive. Today we are in the Ghana Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs to have a conversation on the back of this. I have with me the CEO and founder Sharif Gali, and also another business owner and a chamber member, Zico Abubakar. He is the founder of Mothers of All Nations. It's a school. So we want to have their thought. What are their concerns? Why are they having a little challenge with the institutions that have been directed to share this package for all SMEs in the country? Before we begin the conversation, many thanks to my sponsors, Data Bank, NPRA, Leaf Tomato Paste, and J&G Insurance Brokers. My name is Enyonam. Let's go for a quick break. We'll be right back after this.
Tomato paste better with the area, no. I don't want to leave tomato paste in Ghana. Ah!
Aha! This is what I call Adriane.
Secret na LEAP, leap. Someone named leap tomato paste Adriane there. It was superb and palatable taste. Na esu obiaso. There were large and small sizes for chop bars, restaurants, and enfie.
For bulk purchase, contact 033-2095-314 or 050-141085.
Welcome back from that quick break. It's still Best Trend Show. My name is Enyonam and I'm right here with Sharif Gali. Sharif, how have you been?
I'm good. And you?
You don't sound too good for me.
Yes, at this season you don't expect me to sound too
awesome.
good.
And Zico, Abubakar, nice meeting you. You know, the COVID-19 greeting. Welcome.
So where is
This is your first time on Best Trends, right?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So we're going to have a very interesting conversation. Now, let me start with you, Sharif. The COVID-19 has affected SMEs in many ways. Would you say this intervention by the president has come at the right time?
Yes, indeed, it has come at the right time, considering the situation we are in. One can say that this intervention has come at the right time. The only problem I have is the space at which it's being done. It's quite slowing because I don't think you expect the business to totally collapse before you give them money. That means that you not even get them to pay back. So the space at which the disbursement or the support is supposed to be given should be quickened so that entrepreneurs can have access to it.
But aside that, you think it's the right time?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the right time. This is the time we need more. We even need more help,
Zico, Mr. Ken Thompson is a very staunch businessman in this country. Alex Mood happens to be the former executive director of NBSSI. These two personalities have shared different thought with regards to NBSSI. You know, they have their personal reservation with the institution being the one to disburse this fund. Do you think you foresee any favoritism or partisan playing, here?
Well, as Ghanaians, we can't live without politics, and we also would have to say that based on the precedents that we have in previous interventions, partisanship has actually played a very vital role. So I'm very sure that partisanship will actually play a vital role as far as this intervention is concerned. And it's something we can do without
Okay.
now. We just have to try as much as we can to make sure that systems are actually kept in place in order to make sure that even if there are partisanships, it shouldn't be that much, so that more people on the ground can also benefit as well.
Awesome. Sharif, let me come to you. With regards to safeguards by the NBSSI to ensuring that SMEs who benefit from this fund use it for the right, or use it to scale up their businesses. Do you foresee that happening? How would NBSSI ensure this monitoring and evaluation, if I should say?
All right, so I think that with respect to this, you asked a very brilliant question that needs a lot of attention. With my observation and the work we have done with NBSSI, you would realize that it's kind of the starting point of whatever they are doing. So they are kind of prototyping. Okay. So at the end of the day, you realize that a lot of things that the NBSSI is supposed to do to set the pace or to set the system to be able to follow up are not there. But they are now recognizing them, and they are starting it. And the good thing is that money have not been disbursed yet. We only hope that before monies are given to SMEs, this system should have been in place. Because remember, in the initial stages, they said that the PFIs, that's the participatory financial institutions, they would be the people to do the monitoring. Then later they said trade associations, we are going to do monitoring and ensuring that the people pay back. And now we received an MOU just yesterday from them. And in the MOU, it's indicated that they have the business development, business centers in the various districts and the region. They are going to do monitoring and recovery alongside trade associations. So I think that they are not too clear with what to do in that direction. And they are kind of self-testing systems, which I think is very bad, because now people are applying. Very soon you'll be approving and giving him money. And you do not have a very clear monitoring system that will ensure that people are able to put the money into what they are saying. Because if you look at the loan facility, they say that the loan is either for salaries, it's either to procure raw materials. Now, who is going to ensure that? I believe from all sides it should have been the work of the trade associations. If you ask me to give a comfort letter or guarantee you to pick the loan, and now I do not play a key role in ensuring you use the money in that way. So what happens if you default? You would come and call the trade association, take them to court and also. So that, for that, I think is not quite clear from MBSS. I don't know what plans they still have, but it really, really needs to be worked on. That's, the system have to be declared clearly that, yes, this is the way and manner we are going to ensure that SMEs use the money and then they are able to pay back, which is not clear.
A follow-up question to you, Zico. With the confusion that is surrounding, what Sharif just mentioned with NBSSI, would you say that they are displaying some form of incompetence with this disbursement?
Wow, incompetent will actually be a very harsh word.
Okay.
But I think I would like to say the idea was not really thought well, because this is actually the platform for Ghana to have most of these small-scale industries in the on a particular database, and then see how best we can monitor their progress and see how we can support them, not only with resources, finance I should say, but information and the technical know-how of how things should go. So with some of these lapses, you could say that there is no future plan for as far as this intervention is concerned. But then this is the time that we think, I think that some sustainability measures needs to be taken into consideration for as far as this initiative is concerned.
And can I add up to what Zico just said? You see, COVID-19 came and then President said that, yes, let's take this 600 million, let's help SME. So, yes, I understand MBSSI from a point, but a wider consultation can be done and it will help them. Because, yes, you are kind of in a hurry to come up with a proposal, a project that will help SMEs. Yes, you identify the fact that they need funding. You want to give them the funding, but what is the follow after, or after the funding, what should be the actions after them? So that is where they still have those issues in, and I don't think it's incompetency, because a lot of institutions, if this is given to them, they might also face the same challenge, because you have to hurriedly take decisions and make sure you put in the system that works. But then if you take your time and consult more, some of these things will not be a problem.
Right, as a chamber, and other few business institutions are calling for inclusion in this whole process. Like Guta, for instance, also came out to ask the president to, you know, include some of their members in the process. On the back of that, would you emphatically say that NBSSI is not qualified to disburse this loan, as others are saying, like Ken Thompson, for instance?
Well, I wouldn't say they are not qualified.
Okay.
Yes, because if you look at their mandate, they are supposed to work with small-scale industries. So they are, in a way, they're in the right position to work with such such a project. But you see, where I have one would have expected that when it comes to this is fun.
Okay.
And NBSSI, no matter what, is connected to government. So one would feel that yes, there will definitely be political influences. So I personally expected in the initial stage that an independent body would have been responsible for the disbursement of the fund. You see, to clear that partisan mind of Ghanaians. And you see, you are not far from being wrong if you think that this will be politically influenced. Because NBSSI work in the total collective goal of the government of the day.
Okay.
But then I believe they can do this work because I've seen what Madam Kosi Yankish is trying to do, trying to make it more transparent.
Okay.
But my only problem is that now people have applied. Who is going to do the improvement?
All right.
You see, nobody knows who is doing the improvement. Nobody knows who is part of it. Yes, a lot of people know trade associations. I know, but we are not directly involved in going to approve who should be giving the loan. So that is where the question is. At least we should know that, okay, so these are the committee of persons with this expertise from these independent organizations that are going to approve loans. At that point, you and I know that at least it won't be too much politically influenced like people would think. But I believe NBSI can do a better work. I won't say they are not in the right position to handle this, but then they should do what is right by giving out the most important aspect of the whole project to independent persons to do it. Like, for example, the man name you mentioned, a very seasoned person.
Yes.
People like that can be brought together. Yeah, can be brought together who understand loan and business, and they will disperse this fund so that nobody will not sit anywhere and say, MBSI Krampo said, you understand how Ghanaians will think. Yeah.
Right. So, Zico, Alex Moult once again also said that NBSSI is a bureaucratic institution and also controlled by political party. In that case, do you foresee that the disbursement will be dictated by the same government who actually said, oh, you know, do this to scale up or help SMEs expand their businesses?
Well, it's quite interesting. Just as my boss said, you see, this is more or less like a government body. You know, it's affiliated to the government of the day, and we can't take that away from them. That the government of the day was actually voted into power by a couple of people who have their own parochial interest. And you should also know that at this very point in time, we are whilst we are working towards re-election that's come December. You know, people would want to win favors, obviously.
Okay.
And so you should know how some of these things are.
So definitely politics will play in there.
Definitely politics will play in there. And I still want us to look at the precedents that have been created previously. Yes, in the distribution of food items or relief items, we saw very well that even though the virus was affecting everybody, you could realize that food were actually distributed to quote and unquote party faithfuls. So you should.
It will not be surprising if that happens.
It wouldn't be surprising. Okay. So we should expect that some of this might also happen. But then I trust the board, and I trust that they would actually do a very good job. Okay. Yes.
Okay. So viewers, you're still watching Best Trends. So my name is Enyo Nam, and today our conversation is tailored towards the 600 million amount of money that the president has tasked NBSSI to disburse to SMEs in the country to ease the pressure that COVID-19 has brought upon their business. We are going for a quick break. We'll be right back to continue the conversation. Stay with me. I'll be right back.
When you've worked hard for your money, you want to make sure you're investing it with the right company. And when you need your money, it will be there for you. As Ghana's leading investment bank, Data Bank has been helping Ghanaians achieve financial independence since 1990. At Data Bank, you can purchase mutual funds, treasury bills, or shares. We're one of Ghana's leading pension and provident fund managers.
Backed by our world-class research team, Data Bank has a proven track record of strong performance and good corporate governance. Knowing where to invest is key. Invest wisely, invest with Data Bank.
Right, so welcome back from that quick break. It's still Best Trend Show. Share your thought with us as a business person, an SME out there. Are you interested in going for this loan? The forms, the registration form you need to fill, how is it going for you? Is it likely you'll get it or not? Well, get all these details today on Best Trend Show. Sharif.
Yep.
So, what is exactly the Ghana Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs? What exactly are your disagreements as far as the disbursement of this 600 million is concerned?
All right, so thank you very much. Number one, we believe that a special focus should have been given to young entrepreneurs. You see, you can't just box young entrepreneurs and other big institutions together to compete. Number one, even the eligibility criteria, some of the things you mentioned, most of these young people who run SMEs do not even have them. But then you ask them to go and compete with other big institutions who have the track record, who have the annual sales for 2019 that is quite good. And a lot of them do not have and can't even quote. So you see, we believe, or what we were calling for is that out of this 600 million, at least 100 million could have said that this one is focused for young people who are running SMEs. And now we know young people, we know their strength, we know how they can apply for this fund. Then based on that, we could sit with MBSSI, with other stakeholders that are working on young people, and said, okay, let's do it this way. Let's disburse the fund this way. But nothing of that sort is being done. The 600 million is thrown to the market. Anybody else can apply. How do you want the small businesses or the young entrepreneurs who will be the future movers of the economy to be able to grow? And I tell you what, we did a survey from 13th April to 30th April. And we realized that close to about 45 young businesses owned by young people, are going to collapse. Why? Because a lot of them don't even, COVID-19 has totally affected them. They have totally closed their businesses and they can operate. And this will result to about loss of jobs. About 60% of people employed by young people will lose their jobs. So this is a troubling picture that needs to be looked at for. And I'm telling you that a lot of young people, they are applying for this with a little bit of hope because they feel like, Charlie, look at Guta comes to talk about this fund. AJ even said the fund is small. Ghana Chamber of Commerce said the fund is small. A lot of them are even saying this 600 million is small. What does it mean to you? If the big ones are saying it's even small to them, then they are not going to reach you. So you see, we have to be, it's something that we really need to look at. I was expecting the president, the day he was doing the launching. That's why we did all our press release before their launching. So the president would have mentioned that, okay, young entrepreneurs, this is our intervention for you. But you see, we are in a country where seriously a lot of focus is not given to the young people. I don't know whether we forget that these are the people who also employ a lot. Go to every young person, at least the person employs himself or herself plus one or two persons. But you see, when you don't see them to be promising, when you don't see them to be hopeful,
they don't see potential in the
that business. Is it. At the end of the day, you neglect them. And these people, when they collapse, a lot of people will lose their jobs. And that will, you know what will happen. You see, so these are the things that we need to look at. And that's what we call an MBSSI. We haven't heard anything yet. And we are not, because disbursement is not yet done. Maybe they could still say that, okay, based on this, we are going to do this. Those who apply and you are within 35 years, we are going to do this. That's what we want them to do. Okay. Yes.
Zico, there were sectors that were mentioned who are supposed to benefit for this loan. As a business owner, is your sector mentioned in there?
Well, I should say yes or no. It wasn't actually specified there, but then you know, we one way or the other have to box ourselves in a particular sector. They said educational institutions, so we just have to box ourselves there. But then I think there are different businesses that weren't actually mentioned. Even when it comes to those in the creative art industry, I realized that their category was not really mentioned, and a lot more categories have not been mentioned out there, which is actually a worrying, you know, thing now, because most of them feel that they have not been acknowledged, and they feel the government believes that their contribution towards the national cake, you know, it's not helping enough. It's not being recognized enough. So for that matter, they have not been highlighted in this particular
But as an
initiative.
individual, what is your challenge with this?
With the system, I feel that the package was not really targeted at small businesses, or I should say,
but the name there is small and medium scale.
So you see, the name there can actually connote that they are targeting small and medium scale businesses. But when you actually open the application form, you could realize that there are a lot of businesses that are actually controlling the nation, but then these people have not been captured in there. A lot of people have actually halted their businesses. I have a colleague who runs a small business, you know, where people come in to buy raw materials and then use. This guy has to close his shop during this 2 weeks lockdown period, and you could imagine the amount of money that this young guy lost, and you know, it's taking him so many months to, you know, get back to
his feet.
Yes, and you see, these are there are a lot of such instances out there, and I think that this has to be really looked at. I'm so glad that the disbursement has not started yet, so I'm sure as we
something can be done about the situation.
As we talk, people will listen, and then something.
Sharif, let's assume that the president has not contacted NBSSI and called on Ghana Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs to be the one spearheading this disbursement. What kind of measures, different measures, would you have put in place?
Yes, so number one, we would have done a lot of open consultancy to consult trade associations, and to even first of all run a survey to be able to pick up information of where businesses are actually affected. Because you cannot solve my problem if you do not have the understanding of what I'm going through. So when you have understanding of what the businesses are going through, then you can be able to formulate a policy that will help them. So first of all, we consult businesses, we understand their needs before we now go into design. You see, if they had consulted us earlier, the Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs will tell them or give to them our survey data. Based on that data, because so why not we be able to say that the young people, let's find something to target them. So in that way, you wouldn't have Guta coming to say, why are you not including us? You wouldn't have, because they were not consulted. They just heard, yeah, it's happening, it's happening. So would have done a lot of consultancy and be able to design this disbursement in a way that they can target businesses.
The right people.
Good. Because for example, I know the market, a lot of them have been chatting with other trade associations. They come to tell you that their members are having problems even filling the form because they are not educated or they don't know anything about IT. But you want them to go to one system to apply. How is it possible?
How is it possible? It's still Best Trend Show. Up next is the investment tidbit brought to you by Data Bank. Take a look at that. I'll be right back to conclude this conversation.
Many am Ghana for Emra home and Yamra at that from cry. Your COVID-19 abe high ye. Amaya bra was sankra. Ma be a sema to ye and engine this a to yen that ye name send ye ben. Now so, and Pessame chairman say, send a aircon. Ye name say a beer, anya cra, bosom and Sunday, a big drew honor, 9 soon I Nancy who said China yare no start free and across the say normal air back to normal. One lockdown ye demand one baby yare na ankasa share say no say who say ye piama a man for EP. Inti ye wajidi se Ghana hanso anya kra be dru some yensa de na yen so ye lockdown no so etwem. Inti menim se woti hwe aye wadwendwen se eto ana anka bosom bia na otwe bia na whatever time bia wo bia wo de to nchen ye friend investment no eyo se wo ya na se wo ye meti asese sika na onya no se no eso aba from eso beti so ye driver new so wo shop so ye den keneke sika wo na eso beti ebia nso ana wo sika bi kra da baby emfanse na wo sika wo data bank da se a unya aketua na bibi mba wano yi keneke wo beba ye ho se wo ba bi na nso futu am wo ne se kakre bi kra e ba onsem bia no ese utumi still udi bi to nchen because dachi beba na make an ebe su butum yensa no na nyoma back to normal still ese otu office still ese udi uhwe oye no mba ese udi bibi to nchen for e bia project bi udan bia osi ana wo dachi because ebedru baby onye edwuma bio nti emre we nyemre a ese o ma esu twakra it was so bit to me at but ense sutra nti futu ama won se mema won se do a nioma o se o sika wo so no ense o teso no so na ense o investment no o teso but me enjoy edamas.
Welcome back, and there you have it, your third bet on investment. Many thanks to Data Bank. Invest wisely, invest with Data Bank. NPRA is calling on all business owners that remember to contribute towards your pensions, your retirement, so that when you're on break, you will not struggle to live a better life. And many thanks to Leaf Tomato Paste. If you're cooking, the best ingredient that makes your meal taste better is Leaf. And of course, J&G Insurance Brokers is encouraging you that when it comes to policy, don't just walk into any insurance company for a policy. Walk to J&G for an advice on which policy best work for you. Then you can go ahead and take your insurance policy. When it's time for claims payment, it's easy and stress-free. Zico, we are wrapping up the conversation. What I want to ask is that, as a young business person, what do you think moving forward government should be considering in improving our businesses, our individual lives, our monetary status? What do you think government should be doing?
Well, so when it comes to business wise, there's this thing I've been discussing with friends for quite some time now. I feel like government should actually create a platform where young people can go seek for information for as far as their businesses are concerned, you know, where they could have experts there who are good at proposal writing, who are good at seeking for funding opportunities for people, who are good at you know, helping young businesses look for investors, angel investors outside or even within the country, you know, so that they can also help boost their businesses. I know that trade union or the trade associations are doing that. An organization like the Ghana Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs, where I belong, is actually doing very well. But then I feel that government should actually cushion them or support them in order to reach a wider, you know, range of this more young business entrepreneurs, in order for them to scale up in whatever they are doing, because we are the future leaders, and whatever we do now, the private sector, whether we like it or not, employs the highest number of people in this country. So if we don't strengthen them, especially the young people, then it means that we are actually digging our own graves, and this will create another situation where we'll have young people, you know, lining up to acquire jobs in the public sector, which are actually not there.
Sharif, we are wrapping up with the conversation. As a chamber, personally, before you give me your last words, personally, what have you done, you know, following up on your chamber members, their concerns? What have you done for them?
Yeah, so during the lockdown, what we did was to engage our members extensively to make sure we keep on talking to them to know what is happening in their business and giving them the necessary advice. But we have also very soon be launching an initiative that also seek to cushion the government initiative by raising funds from the general public We call it the YES Fund, Young Entrepreneurs and Startup Support Fund. We'll be launching it as soon as possible. What the fund seeks to do is that to raise an amount of 20 million, which we are going to target on young people. And this time around, it's not going to be any MBSSI disbursing it. It's going to be the chamber. So one would understand that this will be free and fair. And we are going to make sure that young entrepreneurs and startups in Ghana get that little support. You see, sometimes it's not all about liquidity or money. Sometimes it's about they need a tool, they need an advice, they need certain interventions that you can just do with maybe less than 1,000 cedis for them, and they will be up there running their business again. But you see, because you don't get to them, you are not in connection with them, they don't understand. But we are in connection with them and we understand what they want. So we are going to do that intervention to launch the YES Fund, and I think that it's a privilege mentioning it on B-Strength for the first time. And we'll be launching that as soon as possible.
Right. So before we wrap up, I know that Ghana Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs was spearheading a Startup Act policy for the country. How far have you gone with that?
Yes.
Has it become a white elephant or something?
Not really. You see, we're actually in it before COVID-19 and lockdown. But honestly, after it, we are now working with other institutions like the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Plan, NIP, and then that of other organizations like HAPS Network and the rest. So what we are doing is that we are bringing ourselves together. We understand that this is not only the work of the chamber, but other stakeholders when it comes to youth in business. So we have decided to come together. We are developing the concept and the proposed act, which will be presenting to the ministries and then the parliament for onward passage. So it's not a white elephant. I can say that we are about 40% to 50% done.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we see future in the Startup Act, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So viewers, thank you very much for joining us today on B-Strength. So my name is Enyonam, and I had a conversation with Sharif Gali. He's the CEO for Ghana Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs. And of course, I was joined by another business owner, Ziko Abubakar, mother of all nations. He is into the educational sector. And, you know, he says, our institution wasn't directly mentioned, but, you know, we are hoping to get some of the funding. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll come your way again next weekend with another powerful entrepreneur to discuss development and way forward with regards to entrepreneurship in Ghana. Until then, my name is Enyonam. It's a bye for now. Hey, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you.